Wow, things really heated up tonight as far as the Ukraine situation. Russia has invaded, it sounds like, and they are threatening anybody else, any foreign third parties, if they intervene, that there will be severe consequences. So this is heating up really fast. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a geopolitical expert about what's going on in Ukraine. I'm sure there's two sides to this story, but I find it very suspect when, some of my most my biggest nemesis, my biggest opponents, are all just crying foul right now and saying, we have to go to war, we have to start a world war to protect Ukraine. Are they really concerned about the good people of Ukraine? Look at how they've treated their own people over the past 2 years with all their COVID restrictions. Do we really think that they're going to go to bat for the working class of Ukraine, or is it possibly the business interests that we keep seeing time and time again? For example, Hunter Biden and his cushy jobs, or at least one job, where he's getting paid through the nose, possibly in a money laundering bribery situation. So I have a lot of updates here. I'm trying to make sense of it. I just wanted to go live. I was going to go live otherwise on Odyssey and on Rumble and on all these different sites, but I wanted to add in YouTube as well today, and we had a bunch of other tabs pulled up, but we have to cover what's going on in Ukraine. So let's dive in to get everyone up to date, up to speed here. So in no particular order, I just have I have a bunch of updates from the last hour and a half, really. Disclosed.tv reports, Justin, Putin announces in a televised speech the start of a military operation against Ukraine and declares that Russia aims to demilitarize the neighboring country. He calls on the Ukrainian military to lay down its arms. Can I get a sound check out there on the different platforms to make sure we're live? I haven't streamed to YouTube in a while. All right, the next tab here, Disclosed.tv. Just in, Russia attacks Ukraine. Explosions are reported in the capital of Kyiv, in the second largest city, Kharkiv, in Mariupol, and in the port city of Odessa. Here's a video of some explosion going off in the distance. And you can see the lights. Wow, that's fascinating, horrifying footage. You can see after the explosion goes off in the distance, watch the windows light up as people jump into gear to respond. Wow. We have some more video to report on this as well. So Election Wizard has been putting out a lot of updates, keeping us up to date. I don't know how much of this is true. In the fog of war, with all these crazy updates, people just run with rumors oftentimes. So I'm just going to show you what I've seen. Use your own discretion. Breaking, Putin declares military operations in eastern Ukraine. We decided to launch a special military action, the Russian president says. Here's another update from Election Wizard. Putin says, I want to appeal to external forces. Whoever tries to create threats to Russia, the answer will be immediate. Putin says, I appeal to the military of Ukraine. You swore an oath to the people, not to the junta. I urge you to immediately lay down your arms and go home. Now, it's really fascinating. Let me just give you a quick insight into what's happening in the breaking Twitter world. What we're seeing basically is a lot of these Democrat operatives and agents coming out and trying to stir up world war. They want the United States military to go to bat for Ukraine. And not just the people of Ukraine, because something tells me if you took a poll, it wouldn't be like 100% of people want the current government of Ukraine over joining Russia. That's what they want you to believe. These fake liberals who are fake about all their stances as far as liberty and peace goes. They invert everything. Let's see. I'm sure we can find some good examples here. Now, Trump came out. I think we'll cover this in a second. He said it wouldn't have happened under him. which begs the question, what would he have done differently? But he's the type to just brag on the, this type of thing. So lots of prayers. That's, a decent thing that we can do. But I'm concerned about the warmongering that we're seeing. And one of the biggest things that I'm concerned about is the United States involvement in all these Five Eyes countries, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United States. They seem to be operating as a pack. Here's Aaron Ginn, great account on Twitter, says the sun rises on Ukraine. So it's beginning the day there, and these are the types of scenes that they are looking at. I'm not sure what this is a result of. Obviously, lots of black smoke. You can even see the fires. Are those missiles? Are those explosives? I'm not sure. So this is just the breaking news on Twitter that we're scrolling through. We'll consult back and forth with this. This better not start World War. It's so crazy to see the anti-war liberals not being anti-war at all. For like their the oligarch special interests. That's what this is about. But these people are so easy to play. They just turn it into a political issue. Like that's a talking point I keep seeing from the warmongers. They say, look at the Republicans betraying Ukraine and standing with Russia. Like, I don't know if I would say I stand with Russia. I guess I kind of do, but I don't know a lot about it. I figure that there's some corrupt, abusive government ruling over Ukraine right now. And compared to that, how bad is Russia? Probably still pretty bad, but it's just none of my business. None of any of these countries' business. I would say it's between Russia and Ukraine, but of course these people are going to say, well, no, we're the police of the world, and we have to go run in and sacrifice all of our young adults. All right, let's go back to the updates. I'm just trying to keep tabs on the breaking news. This was earlier, about, let's see, 2 hours ago, hour and a half ago. Putin says, we decided to launch a special military action aimed at demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. Interesting wording there. So, I wish I knew more about it. I've been trying to avoid this whole thing, hoping that they wouldn't kick off a world war. But that's what it looks like a lot of these liberals want to do. Fake liberals, that is. And is it any coincidence with like Hunter Biden and all these offspring of these Democrat politicians having huge salaries from like Ukrainian businesses and what seems like a money laundering bribery operation? What is going on here? Here's the next update. Breaking: large explosions heard in Ukraine's capital of Kyiv. We covered that. That's a secondary report on that. Here's another one from Election Wizard, who's been on top of this. Putin says foreign powers that intervene in Ukraine will witness consequences they have not seen before. So you can see how this could quickly turn into a very bad situation. Right after they purged the military of all the conscientious objectors to stupid orders. Here's the next post update. Multiple live video streams show Ukraine's major cities coming under fire. Ukrainian media reporting nearly all major cities are under attack. So I don't even know how much of this is true and how much of this is just like a false flag or the media warping it to serve their own narrative. Sometimes they'll like do stuff like this and then we'll get an update later like, oh, Putin says he didn't do anything. and it's all like he said, she said, and I guess video evidence and stuff. But like when CNN gets involved, you have to question it. But here's a clip from CNN where they hear loud explosions in the background from this hotel balcony shot.
Resist. Oh, I tell you what, I just heard a big bang right here behind me. I thought we shouldn't have done the live shot here. There are big explosions taking place in Kiev right now. I can't see where they're taking place from this vantage point here on top of the roof of the hotel in central Kiev. And I can't explain what they are, but I heard 4 or 5 explosions a few moments ago. I don't know whether our viewers or whether you.
Yeah, and shout out to the chat. We are live on YouTube for the first time in a long time. And I want to read a comment here from One Good Aussie Girl. It says, where was it? Distract from COVID crimes and economy. That could be a large aspect of this. It is very reminiscent of 1984, where to prevent people from getting angry at Big Brother, they always have this enemy that they're fighting way far away. So I'm just bringing this up because I feel like at this point it is pretty huge news that we need to just inform everybody about to make up their own minds. And by the way, we're on Odyssey. For the people on YouTube, make sure to head over to Odyssey for part 2 of this stream, because we're not going to be able to talk about 10% of what I want to talk about. Here's the next post. And you can just, by the way, go to timtruth.com to go to our live stream right now. So here's the next post. Putin says Ukrainian service members who lay down their arms will be able to return to their families. So that's a pretty big threat. Basically, he's saying if you stand against us, we will kill you. Or maybe take you prisoner. But it doesn't sound like he's going to have too much mercy based on the way this is worded. The next post is coming out of the President Biden office. Quote, President Putin has chosen a premeditated war that will bring a catastrophic loss of life and human suffering. It says Biden will speak tomorrow morning. Quote, tonight, Jill and I are praying for the brave and proud people of Ukraine. See, these Democrats always move in a pack too. Like we just looked at, let's go back to this, the breaking news. They wait till the coast is clear and they're all ready to pounce on their next talking point. Their talking point right now is just, let's all look like we're just praying. And I don't know. I'm being a bit cynical. Here's another footage, another clip. See all the explosions going off. Now, what time is it in Ukraine right now? We saw photos looking like it's daybreak. It is 6:45 a.m. But a lot of people saying that they're praying. We should follow up on these accounts in a couple days and see if they're, still following the Biden talking points. Wow. You remember when it was Clinton versus Trump? People kept saying, well, if Clinton gets in there, it'll be a war with Russia. They were pretty much right. By the time Biden got in there, the Democratic Party had to start their war with Russia. And I know they're going to say, how convenient, right? They're going to say, well, Putin started it with his aggression. Well, you didn't have to intervene. He's been very clear that he's going to strike us hard if we intervene. And that's what it looks like they're going to do. We'll cover that in a second. But no war, folks. This is what I'm calling for. No question. No question. No war. Like, imagine if they have a draft in the United States and in other countries. The amount of slaughter. That's what Biden's statement just said. This will bring a catastrophic loss of life and human suffering. Here's an update. Breaking: Ukraine Minister of the something reports a full-blown nationwide attack with missile strikes on military infrastructure and airports with hundreds of casualties. So that's just rumored at this point. And this is a Democrat operative. So Ukraine's Interior Ministry says there are so far hundreds of casualties from Russian missile attacks. That's being reported by CNN. Watch how quick the Democrats start warmongering. It's sick. It needs to be shut down. There's no place for the United States in Ukraine. And Biden, I believe, just got $700 billion for next year in defense spending, which is, of course, offensive military strike spending. It's not defensive. All right, here's another video. The caption is Russian rockets unload on Ukraine. Wow. So some very stunning footage coming out of Ukraine. Here is another post. Jennifer Griffin on Twitter says, U.S. official tells me right now we are seeing the pre-assault fires. Expect this to go on for a few hours. Land attack to follow with all of the full forces Putin has arrayed. So that's, take it for what it's worth. We don't know that for sure, but that's being speculated. Here's the next headline. This was from like CNN's live updates a few minutes ago. Big shocker, right? Ukrainian ambassador to the UN urges Security Council to, quote, stop the war. Like I just said, they always frame it as being defensive. Here's another update from a few minutes before that last one. Also from CNN. U.S. ambassador to the UN says Putin's military operation is a message of war. Election Wizard says, from a report, military airfield at Kyiv is under rocket attack. Natasha Bertrand reports, who is this? Matthew Chance says a Ukrainian official in his interior ministry told him that the explosions heard near Kyiv are missile strikes. Quote, the invasion has begun. So I don't know if invasion is the right word. I really don't know the geopolitics behind this, but you can always tell when the Democrats want to try to frame something a certain way, like the trucker protest they called an occupation. I kind of get the same impression here. Like, I feel like Putin probably has an issue with just a small number of people in Ukraine, and they're trying to frame it as an invasion to hype it up and make it sound like he's just trying to kill all the Ukrainians or something. Which he's obviously not saying if you read his statements. So it's more of an attack on the government of Ukraine, it seems. Election Wizard says unconfirmed reports Russian airborne troops are working to take control of the airport in Kyiv. Another update from Election Wizard. Ukraine's Operation Command says cruise and ballistic missile strikes are underway at the control centers in Kyiv. Let's see if there's any updates. Video shows Russian cruise missiles flying over civilians' heads, headed for targets in Ukraine. Let's check this 8-second clip out. Wow. It's interesting how the liberals or the establishment media, the corporate media, are able to play the fake liberals like fiddles. They just tell them that the Republicans are trying to do something and it's awful. And then the reverse psychology kicks in and the Democrats are like, how dare you stand for Russia? We want World War III. So I'm wondering how quickly the my thoughts and prayers are with the people of Ukraine turns into we need to go to war with Russia. Because I no longer support those people if they change to that stance. You know, Biden is also saying he's praying for the people of Ukraine. So that's what I see from all these liberals right now. They really just have the taste of blood. They want war. And a lot of people are blood profiteering off of this. Think about how much I just said Biden got for next year in military spending. $700 billion. This is an interesting video. Russian paratroopers about to assault the Kyiv airport. That's just what the caption says. I have no way of verifying.
Кирюх, как дела? Что по погоде, брат? Солнечно. самый плотный здесь.
Плотная катка, блядь. Очень плотно.
Халяв. Кирюх, как дела? Че по погоде?
Wow. All right, so those are my updates I have on the Ukraine situation. As you can tell, I'm not claiming to be the world's expert on the situation. I know war is hell, and I know the Democrats have blood in their eyes, and they have the taste of it in their mouth, and they're just foaming at the mouth because they're, I guess, bored with just forced drugging everybody in their own country, and they want to go shoot people up in someone else's country and be the policemen of the world while they try to defund the police here, because that makes sense. So come on over to timtruth.com, and we're going to do some more streaming. We have a ton of links, ton of tabs pulled up. I want to give a shout out to float.app for sponsoring the Wednesday night show. It's a great social media site where you don't get censored. So it's very awesome. It's a resilient network where you won't just get deleted when you hit 10,000 followers, like on Twitter. If you're edgy, that is. So let's play us out with this video here with a World Economic Forum edit. Just some crazy clips from Klaus Schwab. Check this out. And then come on over to timtruth.com. Just go to odyssey.com and search for Tim Truth, or just go to timtruth.com. It'll take you right there.
Young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the world economic forum. We penetrate the cabinets. The change is not just happening. The change can be shaped by us. We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare? Take the necessary action to create a fairer world. I see the need for a great reset. So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
There is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
The next crisis is already waiting for us around the corner, and it is the climate crisis. Young generation, like Prime.
How creepy is that? The young global leaders, or whatever they're called. That is a huge scandal that we're going to continue to blow wide open. Come on over for a little bit more of the stream. We actually have a lot more over on timtruth.com. Thanks for everyone tuning in on YouTube. It's good to see you all again. I wish I could be streaming over there, but they don't like my kind. They don't like my vax status. So take care, everybody, or just come on over and join the party over on Odyssey or Rockfin or Rumble.